Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
All right, man. All right. Let's see about getting this going. What is going on? What's going on? Okay, folks. I got everything in line here. What is the happenings? Thank you guys for being back again for another week. Episode, what is this? Episode 116. We keep on doing it, man. How has everything been for the last week? I hope everything was productive and positive for you guys, and anything negative were to happen to you in this past week, or hopefully it was a learning lesson, because everything is not just like goody two shoes, lollipop land, and crystal waters. Life is life. Yeah, man. So we're back for another show. I am your host, Nova Phoenix, and you're listening to GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. And we're just going to get right into the opening mentions, because I think this is going to be one of those long shows, as I said, that I try to do what I can. What can I say for me, man? I can't say much, still working on certain things. And I'm just going to hold it close to the chest until I can introduce it to you guys. So it will come when it's ready. And then I'm doing a lot of research and trying to get all my ducks in a row. And I'm looking forward to trying to get some things going, because I think it's the natural next step for what I'm doing here. And it all plays a part in everything that I've been doing for the several years, since you guys been following me. So I do appreciate everybody around the world for listening to the show and recognizing what we're trying to give. All right, so let's just go into the open dimensions and get it going. Like I said, first thing I like to say for all those great dads out there, happy Father's Day. I know it was last week, and I didn't get to say it in the last show, but you know what? I always got to catch up. Big ups to all the dads out there doing their thing with their kids, man. We don't get the we don't get the love like we should, man, compared to Mother's Day, but it's all good. All dads want is to be left alone, so we don't have to hear much, and we could just do our own thing. I forgot who said this, but who said it? Man, I can't remember the comedian who said it, man. He's on Blackish. He was like, Father's Day is kind of like, go ask your mother day. We just want to be left alone. We just want to watch TV. We just want to do what we want to hear. And exactly that's what it is, man. So big ups again to all those fathers out there, man. Also, man, that Fatherhood movie on Netflix. I don't know if you guys haven't seen it yet. Fatherhood starring Kevin Hart is on Netflix. Man, it was a really good show, man. Big ups to Kevin Hart for really, to me, he took his acting skills to the next level, because I never saw him really get into the role the way that he did, because he's always playing the comedian. And I think it's always dope to when you see comedians, they can act, they can really show emotion, because they're comedians, and you have to have that skill, that art, to really convey the message, what you're trying to do on stage. But to me, it's different when you see them in a whole new chamber, when they're actually acting in a role. And you're like, wow, man, this dude got range. And I felt the same way about oh my God, what's that guy from? Let me see here. Let me see. The guy. Let me see if I can find it. This dude, he's really good. Here we go. Jim Carrey, man. I love Jim Carrey from In Living Color. just see what he did in The Living Color. He's a talented guy, but when you actually see him do serious roles, it really this guy is a talented actor. Forget him being a comedian. He really can pull off a role and convey emotions and what the character's trying to, who the character is in that role. I mean, it translates on camera. And to me, that's what I see with Kevin Hart. I like to see more of that with Kevin Hart, man, what he can really do. And he did a bang up job. But it was just not Kevin Hart, but also, the cast, the surrounding cast, they really did a great job. Melanie Hurd, that played his young daughter, man, she was a delight, man. Cutie patootie. I can see great things with this young lady, man. She's got to be at least 6 or 7 or something like that. But I see so much great things for this young lady. She was in Them, I think. Yeah, she was in Them. And I think she was in Us, I think. I'm not so sure. I don't think so. I think I'm more seeing Us. But Melanie Hurd, man, big ups to this young lady, man. Parents are doing such a great job. Anthony Carrigan, the guy with no hair, or as a lot of people name, the medical term is alopecia. He played a number of different villains on the TV show Flash and Gotham. He was also in Bill and Ted's Face and Music. I haven't seen it, but I know he's in that movie, and now he's in this. I think it was in this sense, it was a breath of fresh air to see Anthony Carrigan just playing the supporting role as a friend to Kevin Hart's character. I liked him, and you know what? I want to see him more than what he typically does because he has alopecia. They said that he can be pigeonholed into the villain role, but definitely I like to see him in a regular movie, man, really, so I can see what he can do. Deborah Ayorinde, man, let me tell you, man, in the little bit that she did have in Fatherhood, I always love seeing this woman work. Of course, you know her from Luke Cage. She was on that. Now she's, of course, on Them on Amazon Prime, and she has this role here in Fatherhood, and I thought that was fantastic, man. I love seeing her work, man. I'm looking forward to seeing a whole lot more of Deborah Ayorinde. I didn't even know she was British, by the way. She's Nigerian from Britain, so wow, man, she comes off. Alfre Woodard, man. What can I say about Alfre Woodard? She is a legend, man. She's an icon in business, man. She's done her history is so vast. I can't even go over everything that she's done. But she's off the chain, man. She was in Crooklyn. For the movies that I know her from, Star Trek First Contact, she was in 12 Years a Slave. She had a little role in Captain America Civil War. So, Alfre just keeps on doing. If you see her list, her work, this woman has a serious work ethic. Some actors can have 2 roles, and sometimes they just get gifted because, sometimes actors don't get a whole lot of roles. So whatever they can get, they do get. And, I don't know if it's by the hand of the actor or choice by the actor, but some of these actors have 2 roles in a single year. Alfre Woodard, she's had roles that was 5, 6, this woman is hustling in some years. So, big ups to Alfre Woodard. I always like seeing her act. She was also in, what's it called? The Netflix show, I can't remember it. Man, my kid always watches that TV show. With Captain Shab. You know what I'm talking about. She was the auntie, whatever, that always corrected the kids, the Baudelaires with proper English. Yeah, she was in that one too. So yeah, man, Alfre Woodard is the business. DeWanda Wise was in there. She played the girlfriend. Kevin Hart's reluctant. He was reluctant to having a girlfriend, but she played in that in the show Fatherhood. Now, of course, everybody knows from She's Gotta Have It, another talented individual, and of course, Paul Reiser. Man, it's funny. I shit you not, guys. I was right before watching this. I don't know how this happened. Paul Reiser pops into my head. And I'm like, whatever happened to Paul Reiser? I'm telling you. And here we go, pops up in this movie Fatherhood as the boss. Yeah, I was like, that's Paul Reiser. Oh snap! Paul Reiser. See, I remember Paul Reiser when he didn't have gray hair, okay? I remember Paul Reiser he was from Beverly Hills Cop early on. My Two Dads, a TV show that he was on. And also he played in Aliens, which is like one of my all-time favorite movies, where he played Carter Burke. You know, it was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call. Yo, I love that movie. Love that movie. Yo, shout out to Paul Reiser, man. It's good to see him alive and well and doing his thing. Yeah, so all right. So second thing, I got my vaccination shot. My first, yes, I got it done. So I told you guys I'm not an anti-vaxxer, man. My thing is I like to see how things play out in the public, you know, and talk to people firsthand, and, you know, just to get a good understanding. There's going to be a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's going to be a lot of information that is worthy to kind of like, you probably do want to jump down that rabbit hole, but be careful of what you get. So I like to feel things out and make sure that it is what it is, because, you know, as black people in this country, we always got to be doubly sure, triply sure that, you know, things ain't happening the way it's happening, you know what I mean? But I got my first one. I'm gonna be taking my second one soon, and even though they're saying that it's not really a vaccination, because they're saying even if you get vaccinated, it's a possibility that you can still get it, and supposedly there's reports out there that people that have gotten COVID even after being vaccinated. So, you know, a lot of people out there are saying, well, if that's not a vaccination, that's more like, you know, temporary a remedy for the COVID. Hey, man, this is what it is, guaranteed. They're going to be doing this every year, just like all your other shots that you got to do on an annual basis. So, yeah, man, that's what it is. And, you know, sometimes I think, man, as human beings, you know, talking about vaccinations, I'm thinking about inoculations and bacteria. Are humans becoming too sterile, or we're making our environment too sterile from natural bacteria? Because as living organisms, we do have natural bacteria in us that fights off these diseases. That's all around us. You know, some of them we do well, our bodies fight off well, and others we are, you know, subjected to some different strain. But sometimes I think we could be too sterile, like, you know, cleaning our hands. I feel like we got to put our hands in the dirt, man, really expose ourselves, because it took thousands of years for us to build up this resistance to all of these diseases that we can be exposed to. And then we know we put ourselves in an environment that's separate from nature, kind of like a hospital. We're constantly cleaning. And they've even said in the medical field that all of the antibiotics that we are kind of injecting ourselves with, because of that, you have bacteria becoming superbugs. They're becoming resistant to the antibiotics we've been pumping into ourselves, and we as human beings have to be aware of that. So, you know, all these things are coming into play. Like, are we kind of like overly sterilizing everything? I don't know. It's just something that I was thinking of when I got my vaccination shot. I guess we could leave it for a later conversation. Yeah. Yo, Talib, Kweli, and Diamond D. Everybody knows Diamond D from Digging in the Crates crew from back in the day. It seems like these two individuals are starting a new group called Gotham, man. They're going to be coming with some new music. I'm looking forward to it. Talib always is an artist that I have in view. I love his music. I do love his music. I may not buy all of it. I'm not going to front here. I may not buy all of it, but I like what Talib brings to the table. And for him to kind of like work with Diamond D on this, and everybody don't know who Diamond D is, do your research, Google Diamond D. My brother goes back way back in the day, and for him to work with him, I think it's really hot, man. So I'm looking forward to that. You know who else got a good album out? I just bought it, man. I just bought it. Let me see here. Yo, Toby Nwigwe. I gotta say that a couple of times. Remember, yo, I just bought this album. It's called Cinco Originals, I guess. Cinco Originals. Yo, this record is, from what I've heard so far, I think I listened to like 5 or 6 songs. Yo, it's crazy. So shout out to this brother, man. He's doing good music, man. You never know where good music could come from. I always have my ears open. So yeah, man, looking forward to that Diamond D Talib Kweli album. And when you guys have a chance, man, listen to my man Toby Nwigwe. I gotta hear that and make sure I get the right pronunciation in my head. I don't want to butcher my man's name. Shout out to my man Toby. So we're coming down to the final days. Actually, by the time this come out, people would have already voted. So here we are. We are done with this vote, right? We're totally done. We had a week early. Matter of fact, yeah. You're right. The 22nd. People are gonna be voting on the 22nd. So today's the 23rd and whatever afterwards. So by the time this drops, people would have voted on the official voting primary day. So yeah. So I wonder how New York is coming, man. I know I have my thoughts. I already have, as everybody knows from last week's show, I'm an independent, so I couldn't vote in the primary. And it's unfortunate, it's upsetting, and I goofed, and I know how it's so important to really be involved in your local politics. But I said everything that I had to say from last week's show. But yeah, but I also have my doing my digging. I also have some other issues with what I've been finding out with this new thing with ranked choice, and I'll get to that in a second. So if I could, I would have definitely. If I came down to a choice, I would have picked Maya Wiley, excuse me, I'm butchering her name, Maya Wiley, and Stringer, and then I think she's Puerto Rican sister from the Bed-Stuy, Morena, I don't know, but my top choice, Morena. Oh my God, I'm sorry for butchering your name, but let me name. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. I just want to remember these people. I'm here talking to you guys. I want to freaking remember this woman's name, and I don't think I'm gonna get it in time. Oh my God. Anywho, yeah, I keep on forgetting this woman's name. This woman, she will pop into my head at some point, and oh my God. Anyway. So yeah, those are my top 3 choices, and I picked Maya at the top of the list. And I personally think by the time it comes out, it'll be, I already know who's gonna win. It's gonna be your guy, Eric Adams. I know it's gonna be Eric Adams. So yeah, that's the deal. And it is what it is. People are gonna make their choices, and we have to go with our choice for the next 4 years. And I'm sure there's going to be some battles, and we're just going to have to deal with it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at names while I'm talking, because I really want to get this woman's name. Diane Morales. That's who I was talking about. Diane Morales from Bed-Stuy. So yeah, so we're going to just have to live with our choice, and whatever that we have issues with, we have to do our duty as citizens of New York, us as New Yorkers. If he does anything that we don't agree with, we got to get in on the street. We got to let our voices be heard. So it is what it is. But that's my thing. But as I was digging, right? I guess I can't understand how this whole thing goes. I'll get into that later. It's going to be in the next segment. Let me hold off on that. We're going to get into the next segment. I got one more thing, and then we'll get out of here with some music, and then we'll come back with that as far as this whole voting thing. So anyway, so Juneteenth is a federal holiday, right? Juneteenth is a federal holiday. Everybody knows this is official. Juneteenth is here. The federal government has signed it into, has ratified it. All them words you want to use, it is here. But who cares? Yo, who cares? And I don't want to be disrespectful. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But the fact is, when the Senate passed this to move forward to make Juneteenth a holiday, everybody knows what Juneteenth. If you don't know what it is, Google it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be like master teacher on every single piece of information. But Juneteenth. It's been something that's been going on in the black communities for a long time, since the last group of people down in Texas got freed, and the last group of black folk that was informed that they were free. And this special day on June 19th, what we consider Juneteenth, has been made a federal holiday, and black people across America have always celebrated it in one way or another. So anyway, yeah, a lot of people said their piece. I said my piece, and pretty much why did I say what I said? I say that because all the things that are happening right now in the last, say, 100 days of Biden's administration, the last things have been happening for, like, say, the past 5 years. There are some serious issues on the table that black people want specifically. And pushing forward Juneteenth is, to me, is performative justice. All right, we want concrete. How should I say it? We want some concrete legislation that really is going to protect African Americans in this country. We want something that's robust. We want something that's going to be put ahead that's really going to show true progress of how America and how African Americans can build a better relationship with each other, especially in the last 100 years, or say 400. Come on, we're in 2021 and we're still dealing with things that we've been talked about. So what I'm talking about is the George Floyd bill with qualified immunity in it, the anti-lynching bill. We're talking about all the anti-voting laws that's been going on from West Coast to East Coast. We want that to be stopped in its tracks, and we are not getting that. And when it comes, anything that comes from the Senate, as how we understand it with all those Republicans, they are no longer Republicans. They are steadfast in their white supremacy. So if anything that black people's dealing with when it comes to any bills or legislation, anything that passes in the Senate, because of how these folks in the Senate move, how they have showed their hand, we always have to look at it as being suspect. Always have to look at it being suspect. So they signed it and it passed in the Senate first, and then it went to the House, and of course it's going to pass in the House. And it passed, of course. Not every Republican was down for it. We understand that. Everybody's like, oh my God, who are those 14 Republicans? Whoever, 12 or whatever number it was. Yeah. We already know where they come from. We know how to get down. That is not surprise. So let's not get distracted in that whole, I can't believe 14 Republicans voted against it. All right. So my thing is, here we are, we're passing the Juneteenth bill, making it a federal holiday. People can be off, banks are closed, schools are closed, whatever. Any federal agency or institution is closed for the day on June 19th or the day before, whatever. That is happening. We don't need that. Black people didn't ask for that. We don't want that. That is performative justice. That's just giving crumbs off the table. That's just saying black people just shut up. We gave you something. So if something goes down in Congress, if something goes down in this country, or they can say, well, at least we passed June 19th. Why are you guys so ungrateful? Come on, man. Black people are a lot smarter than you think. All right, we're not going to go for what we've been going. The day we have turned the corner into a new age as far as our worldview, as far as what we think, as far as how American government or the Congress treats the African American population. We no longer are just going to go for symbolic justice moves. We're no longer going to go for the peas that are kind of like forked together and pushed off the table. We're not going for that no more. We're not going for that. We did that in the 8 years of Obama. We did that in the last 8 years because a lot of people believed that Obama was going to turn the corner on this and really, it's not like something that Obama was going to strictly only deal with black people alone, or everybody was going to get pushed to the side or just parted like the Red Sea and like, nah, I'm going to do stuff for black people. Black people knew that was going to be the case, but at least we had a black man in office that was going to at least understand what we were going through and was going to do what was necessary to pass legislation or get behind legislation that was going to push us forward. We didn't get that. A lot of people, you could go anywhere from people's like, Obama's cool, to then on the other side of that spectrum where we got the hard people on the other side, like, nah, he ain't do nothing. He was a waste of our time. So now we're post Obama now. We're past that. We dealt with those 8 years. Now we're dealing with a man that was his vice president, now in the presidential seat. And now black people, that everything that Biden said was saying, well, I got to thank black people in all of these key states now, especially with Georgia, right? That without the black vote, I wouldn't have gotten in. And he vocalized that. Everybody that was on the street, every civil rights leader, every person that was an activist, everybody that was encouraging people to vote in these key areas, they pushed forward the black vote and other votes, but key areas. And as they say, listen to black women, because black women be saving America in a lot of different ways. These messages that were put forward, and then he thanked black people for it. And what does he do? He gets inside, and all of a sudden he just can't do nothing. So when this Juneteenth came forward, yeah, of course, Juneteenth was advocated for years. Yeah, we understand that. Of course, if you want to make a federal holiday, yeah, that's cool. But that's not what we were looking for. What I'm calling this is bad timing. Especially if you had Biden, and again, what passed initially in the Senate was the anti-Asian bill, the anti-Asian hate bill that came forward, because this was linked to COVID, because a lot of things that were happening to the Asian community because of COVID, and they were being accosted, they were being run up on, hate crimes. We understand this. And that's cool. We totally accept that. We get that. We understand that. But now when we're coming to legislation where we're dealing with this, not for the moment in the last 6 months or 16 months, something that black people have been dealing with since we first got here. And here we are in 2021, and then we say, hey, we could give you Juneteenth, we'll give you a holiday. And that's not what we're going for. We were going for constructive legislation that was going to protect black lives. And all of a sudden, we just can't do nothing. And as I said before, they were saying, man, if we get this vote, it's going to be a split. And all we need is Kamala in there to break that split, that even Steven, that 50-50. And what happened? We can't get nothing. That's why people are losing faith in the Democratic Party. That's why people are saying, well, because every time it's either they're kowtowing, they come up with excuses, or all that talk they were saying before that they were going to strong arm and come in and do something. Hey, we're 50-50. They do all that talking and swinging on their arms, and when it gets to it, when they get to that line, they stop right there, dead in their tracks on a dime, and can't move any forward any. And then what do they say? Well, they come up with something. Everything is always an excuse. And then, as I said, you got this guy Manchin over there on the House side just gumming up the works. And it continued this talk about bipartisanship when you had people that were orchestrating the January 6th riot, that the insurrection that happened in January 6th, the very people that orchestrated it, all of a sudden you want to talk about bipartisanship, and they want to I don't understand that. How magically this bipartisanship is supposed to happen. Where I don't understand. If someone was trying to burn your home, burn you out of your home, torching your home, was pouring the gas around the foundation of your home, all around the perimeter of the phone, and lit it up, and you put out the fire, are you trying to negotiate with them? Are you going to try to say, well, we got to have bipartisan? You're not talking about no bipartisanship. That's what happened January 6th. They were trying to burn down your home, all of us in it. How are you supposed to seek bipartisanship with that? So that's why it makes us think, wait a second, either you're that stupid, you're that ignorant, and I doubt it. I so very doubt it. I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that hidey-ho type of, oh, golly gee, we're going to get bipartisan. I don't believe that. So, but it's either that or you down with it. You've been riding with these people for so long. You've been talking with these folks and breaking bread for so long, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, these old dogs. And now they're personally, intimately linked with each other. They're not going to start nothing. Imagine you work with somebody for 30 years at your business, not even you personally, your business. You're a co-worker to this person for 30 years. And then something, whether you're chummy with him or not, you worked with him for 30 years. all of a sudden something comes out where it's like, oh man, this is not going to look good for me publicly. Could you do me a favor? Could you just not say nothing? Because of the fact that you broke bread with this guy for 30 years, even though you had different tactics for those past 30 years, you're just going to give him up? Not unless, he kills your family dog or something. Usually like, let me help this guy. Let me help him out. In law, deals are made from personal relationships in the legal system with the prosecution and the defense. One of my naive days back in the day in my early 20s, I thought those were two separate bodies. I thought, there was one side of prosecution and then you had a defense, right? But no, in reality, in the legal system, these people know each other. They went to the same schools, some of them. And now after they graduated and they moved on to their practice, they've known each other for a long time. Some of these deals are worked out because of personal relationships. Hey man, could you give my man less years? I know, understand it's 10, 15, but hey bro, let's work it. And they're eating over this man's life over a sandwich or beer. And they're talking to, hey man, bro, I'm telling you, Jerry, you know how it was. Remember back when we was in college? I don't know if I can give it to him 10 to 15. I don't know. He's going to do 25 to life. I don't know if I can give 10 to 15. Yo, come on, do me a favor. All right, let's see. These are based on personal relationships. You don't think there's personal relationships in Congress? So all that guff, that hullabaloo saying, hey, we got a 50-50, we're going to pass this legislation and do everything that what our voters expected us to do. All of a sudden you think they're going to come in here, all of a sudden it's going to be hidey-ho, all right? We're just going to, no, bro. So it makes me think that way as far as the Democrats go. So now we're dealing with this Juneteenth bill. I'm sure people talked with each other. It's funny how one piece of legislation doesn't work, but a whole other one does. Just and Biden came in. Wasn't Biden in Russia? Something dealing with Putin? I found that interesting. And I'm like, yo, he just came back and he's ready. He got pen in hand. Passing the Senate, passing the House, no problems. Okay, ready to go. Pen in hand, ready to sign this. And I'm like, huh? Yo, that worked out too well. That worked out way too well. You know what I mean? Where other bills that we're discussing qualified immunity and it's the haggling over, with Tim Scott and then you got Clyburn and all this, back and forth and McConnell's not going for it and Manchin has issues with some of the For the People's Act and all of this just this bureaucracy and these excuses, and I don't know if this is going to happen, and all of a sudden these things just lose steam and nothing gets worked out. Or we're talking about this for the next 2 years. And then all of a sudden you got the Juneteenth works out. Hey, thumbs up. All right, black people, what do you got to complain about? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm very curious about that. So again, as I say, black people is not what we asked for. Yes, it's something that was been advocated for many years and it got passed. But you know what? The George Floyd bill was going on since 2020 and we can't get no forward motion on that. It's not like George Floyd bill came out of nowhere. And especially in these times, in these intense times of the conflict, of the social conflict that's happening, everything that happened out of 2020. I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about. You think that this would be a priority? Okay, let's do something. Let's sign this and get this going. But nothing. You get a holiday, you get a day off. That's what you can get. So let me just scrape up these peas with this fork here and push it off the table. You happy now? So that's what we're talking about. Even if Juneteenth, a holiday came 100 years from now, I would have been fine with it. At least we can have some constructive, hardcore, concrete legislation put forward that's going to protect black people. Then if the Juneteenth bill came 50, 100 years from now, that's all well good. There's steps to it. But let's not reverse the action. we're just gonna dance in it. And I see corporations getting the best of this. I already seen it happening right now. We're gonna have Juneteenth sales. We're gonna have 15% off. I don't know, anything associated with black people. We're gonna call it a Juneteenth sale every year. I already see it. And you know what? One more thing. They passed the bill, right? And you have these people, I think it was the CBC there, and they did this stupid ass, oh my God, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart deeply. They had some old white man singing an old Negro spiritual terribly. He was off key and everything. Who put the, why, what the, it's like, oh my God. It was embarrassing. I saw this. And the camera panned from this guy butchering this song, pans over to the CBC, and it's like, oh my God, it was so embarrassing. This is the ceremony. This is how you're gonna do it, right? You sign this Juneteenth bill. All of a sudden, you're gonna have this old white man that don't know this song from shit no shite, and he's gonna butcher this song, and y'all just gonna stand there looking like, oh, going along. Wade in the water, children. That's what we gonna sing. That's what we gonna be singing, right? Why this old white man butchered the song. Who the hell set this up? Oh man, it was embarrassing. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. Oh my God, you understand. I saw that little thing, I think it was on social media. I was like, Jesus Christ. That was like the salt in the wound for me. I was like, oh, so you gonna just pass the bill and then you gonna do this little bullshit little ceremony, all right, with this old white man singing his song, and just some parts, it just sounded like he was intentionally fucking that shit up. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about with Juneteenth. It's all timing. And then you guys, if you sit back and think about it and you stare at this for a while and you kind of like eat this up and you just turn it over in your brain a couple times and all the footage and this guy singing and everything, it's just like, yo, don't insult me, man. Don't insult me. And that's how I personally feel. And a lot of black people was feeling like that. And there was other people that were saying otherwise. No, we got this. We finally got this. Something we've been fighting for a long time. Come on, black people. Why you acting? Nah. We ain't got no time for this bullshit talk. It's been too long. I'm not going to spend another 50 years doing this. We got to we know what it is. We know white supremacy. We know systemic racism. It permeates through all parts of fabrics of American society. Everything from freaking taxes down to the type of shoes that you want to wear when you go to your friend's wedding, the hard bottoms you're going to choose. It's everywhere. We get it. We understand. Black people understand it. White people understand it. Everybody else in between understand it. Now it's front and center, white supremacy. And George Floyd was the catalyst to really push that subject matter into the lexicon. Everybody's talking about it. We understand. And everything else that comes after with the Republican Party. Everything that they're doing or not doing. We understand. We're not stupid. So now we're not going to play no games. The hood is off, so to speak. Literally and figuratively. People are out front and they doing what they doing. The line is drawn. How are we going to move forward? We got a lot of sore Republicans. Now, people that are playing Republicans, they soar because you can see it in their actions. You see it in the foolishness that they're doing, the foolish topics that they're going over. A prime example, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like it's sad and it's dangerous at the same time. It's both. It's pathetic and it's problematic because all of these people like Marjorie Taylor Greene really ain't saying nothing. Republicans don't have any talking points. We can't even call them Republicans now. How they're acting is like spoiled children. Like that's in the least, at the very least, what they're acting like. In the worst case scenario, they setting up America for the fall. All they're doing is just biding their time to wrench back the power. Now that they have it, they're gonna do all types of shit. So how are we gonna do this? Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. How are we gonna do this? We know. All right. Let's get into some music. What we got? What I got for you? So we're gonna get into the throwback. I guess it's gonna be a throwback episode. We're gonna play Flash with I'm a Die King, and right after Flash, we're gonna get into Laryss with Look Up. Two dope artists, as I always say. I always work with dope music, so check them out on my IG page when I post the promo photo for this show. So we're gonna get in with Flash with I'm a Die King, and then following up with Laryss, Look Up. Okay, so we'll be right back with the second segment.
I'm not just a talker. I practice this. That's why they can't deter me. They can't threaten me. They can't promise me. They either have to kill me. You can't kill an idea whose time has come. You can kill the flesh and blood that represents that idea. But the idea lives as long as it lives in the hearts and minds of the people.
Flash, I stay grinning cause I stay winning. My fan base full of G's and pretty faced women. I'm who they mention when they talking great penning. Dripped in the finest furs and leathers. Sway linen, wig spinning, rolly plain Jane, not a stone. Talking money, holla at me anywhere, just not the phone. Any hood, I feel right at home. Any block I roam, of course I'm pulling up. Ain't no coward in me, not a bone. Not a bone. See, I propose to these streets without the diamond ring. Even though mama tried her best to raise me with the finer things. Mama, Flash is hip hop with every rhyme I bring. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king.
Listen up. Turn up.
You're listening to GCOM Radio.
The world is all fucked up, but I am not surprised. I'ma just load my guns, cross my T's, and dot my I's. Made a call to Camden, I needed that Apollo vibe. Listen, Jersey, it's only right that we monopolize. Yeah, stop all the rhyming about the cop and pies. You weren't really in these streets, youngin', stop your lies. Every opportunity ain't made to optimize. When I'm gone, you can't feel my shoes, these are not your size. Propose to this mic without the diamond ring, and I'm with you till the most high decide to provide my wings. Flash is hip hop with every rhyme I bring. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was taught you gotta go out and get what's truly yours. Get off that bench, get on the floor, you gotta shoot the score. Now I don't do this for the Gucci store, I'm too mature. Just trying to rearrange my way of living like some new decor. Frederico Casamigo, what I usually pour. Killer, Afuente and Cohiba fills my humidor. Wifey said we far from broke, no need to move the raw. Say full account secure, a couple here, a few offshore. That's why I took the knee with the diamond ring. Cause you prove the grass is much greener on your side of things. Flash is hip hop with every rhyme I bring. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king. I was born a prince and I'ma die king.
Long live the king!
Hey, turn it up. GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio.
Not an ocean that's too wide, you can fly. When you really wanna get to someone, you'll do anything right. Not a mountain that's too high, and you can climb. Gotta get to you. I'ma get to you. Gonna get to you. Really wanna get to you. If you're down, just look up. I'm around, just I was surprised. 'Cause you didn't seem like yourself. Did you need anything? Anything? I'm down for the ride. It's you and I. Gotta get to you. If you don't just look up, I'm around, just look up, I'll be there. Just look up. If you don't just look up, I'm around, just look up, I'll be there. Just look up. Everybody needs somebody, and I'll be somebody you need. Everybody needs somebody, and I know you got me. Everybody needs somebody, and I know you got me. Take control.
This is GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
All right, so hopefully you like those tunes. Hopefully you can appreciate it. So it's just some old time. I'll play some new music next week. So just enjoy the sounds that I'm giving to you now. I got a whole lot of artists. So it's good that I play them and get them in there in the show. So all right, so I know that we're going to talk about what I was talking about, the voting thing, and I'm digging, and I'm noticing certain things that just don't seem right. I'm talking with friends, and I'm like, wait. So anyway, before we get into that, we're gonna get into business of the week, and then I'll share my thoughts on what I feel with this whole ranked choice. Some more of that, I guess, following up from last week. All right, so we'll be right back with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what up?
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders is what you've been waiting for.
In the age of the internet, anything is possible. In terms of music, we can hear whoever, whatever, whenever we want. I mean, all the major stations have their own apps to go along with the stations they own. You know who they are. But have you heard of the current app that's hip hop and so much more? It's the dopeness we all need. Flavor One Radio, created by DJ Unknown from Buffalo, New York, DJ DeVoice from New Orleans, Louisiana, and Clay Nice from the Atlanta, New York City area. These individuals put their creativity and minds together to serve the best of hip-hop, R&B, Latin, house, reggae, Afrobeat, pop, and more. If you need an app to connect to while you're on the train, those long car rides, or waiting your turn at your local barbershop, this app is for you. They have a list of DJs from many different locations, West Coast, East Coast, down south, and all in the middle. One of those DJs right from New York is DJ Wise, who spins on Mondays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. All these DJs give you the best of their spins, their cuts, and blends of the music they hold close. From the classics up to the new music of this current generation, what a place to hear the music you love. Lyfeblood.com would like to salute Flavor One Radio for giving us our daily soundtrack that bumps throughout the day. The perfect music app we all should have on our smartphones. All right. So what we got here. So this is my deal. All right. So everybody knows where people going to choose who they're going to choose. Right. So we're here. I'm pretty sure Eric got us going to get in there. So what I was dealing with as far as the voting in the primary, and I cannot vote in the primary. If you heard last week's show, I am an independent, and I can be a stubborn independent to the point where stubborn word is a bad move. Maybe if I could stand outside of myself, and I was talking to myself saying, just switch to Democrat, vote in the primary. But then I feel so, I'm so strong in my feelings about, being an independent. I'm getting a political call now. Look at this. So yeah, by the time this airs, yeah, the politicians are calling you. They're trying to get those votes, those last minute votes. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm in the independent, but this is the thing. And if I don't remember saying this, I got when the presidential campaign was running, I think I either got correspondence letter or I looked online and I noticed that my party affiliation was Democrat. And that's why I was so late with, or at the 11th hour trying to figure out what was my party affiliation. Because I remember I've always been an independent, but I remember getting this. And, sometimes if they say memory is not 100% reliable, but I remember getting a correspondence letter or I looked online to check my party. It said Democrat. I was like, Democrat? I was always an independent. It said Democrat. I say, hey, whatever. I'm Democrat. I'm going to vote for this presidential candidate election as a Democrat, I guess. And I'll switch at some point. And I remember thinking this. So now when I got this information as far as the ranked choice that was sitting on my desk for a couple weeks, and then I decided to look it up and it said I was a registered independent. I was like, wait a second, I remember it being the other way around. And now I'm an independent. What's going on? And I got upset at that because, of course, this is the first ranked choice for New York that we've ever had as New Yorkers. And we have so many candidates as the Democrats as we know in their debates. So I got as far as calling the Board of Elections. And I went over with the lady talking about, okay, let me be clear. I went over and I'm repeating again. And she was like, you're right. That's how New York does it. And then I went over the ranked choice. She says, wait a second, you have a point there. Because I was like, if we're going to pick a winner now in this ranked choice, whoever the winner is, who are they campaigning against in November? Who are they? And she's like, oh my God. And she put me on a hold for about 10 minutes. She said she was going to speak to her boss, and she came back and she said, call the finance department or something like that, Queens Finance, whatever. And I called them and I couldn't get through because people are home because of COVID. And I left a message and I never got a call back. So that threw that out the window. I'm getting a call, that's that political call, leaving a voicemail, vote for me, whatever. So I couldn't get through the Queens Finance. Well, let me get this right. Let me see if I can pull this up. Queens Finance, elections, something like that. Campaign, New York Finance, the New York City Campaign Finance Board. That's who I was told to call, the New York City Campaign Finance Board. I called the number, and because of COVID, people were home. Because I had a question, because I'm like, wait a second, we chose a ranked choice. So whoever the winner is, are they the winner now? Who are they going against? Because I clearly did not know in all the time leading up to this, who is going to be the opposition. I haven't seen if it's Republicans. Let's say it's Republicans, as we know traditionally. I haven't seen any Republican debates promoted. I haven't seen nothing. I haven't seen anything. And matter of fact, I did see a little clip. It was Curtis Sliwa. That's the guy that was the head of the Guardian Angels back in the day. It started in 1979. That's when crime was really crazy in New York, if you want to talk about crime. And then this guy, Curtis Sliwa, came up with his red beret, going to talk about he's going to, go on the streets and help the police officers deal with crime. And they didn't have any weapons. They just went out there to help in as far as safety with New Yorkers walking going about their business in their daily lives. So Curtis Sliwa, he was a Republican, and then he was going against another guy named Fernando Mateo. Never heard this guy before. I don't know who this guy was. I saw short clips, and literally it was like 3 seconds of what Curtis Sliwa felt, and it was 3 seconds of what this guy, Fernando Mateo. Haven't seen anything since. Nothing on any channel, radio. Nobody's promoting nothing. My thing is, who's going to be the ranked choice as a Republican? If there are any. If these people are going to be campaigning against whoever the Democratic candidate is, the winner is in this ranked choice. There's not even enough Republicans, if it is Sliwa or this guy Mateo, it's not even enough. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to be 100 with you. The focus is on the Democratic candidates, as we all know who they are. This is New York City, man. This is a blue. New York City makes New York State blue. All right, because the majority of the people here live in New York City. You got 8 million people, and it's heavily blue. So, and especially now with how Republicans are acting, because it's a heavily blue city, region, state, however you want to say it. Nobody's trying to look at Republicans right now. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Right now, the PR for Republicans is in the dirt, 6 feet under. Because how they're presenting themselves in Congress, they are presenting themselves as straight white supremacists. There is no Republican Party. As I said before in the previous segment, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these people and everything that's happening in the Senate, it alone, the January 6th is a problem. It's seriously problematic. January 6th alone, we can't get any agreement with the Republicans saying we should have some kind of January 6th commission. And everybody knows that. Of sound mind, everybody understands that, not just in New York, but around the country. East, West Coast, everywhere in between, down south, up north, everybody knows. Even Canada knows, Mexico knows. We know what's happening in Congress. And Republicans are not, and I hate to say that because I don't even know who they are. I don't know any of their talking points. I don't know any policy that Republicans are standing by. They're just running all over the place talking craziness. So right now, New York they're not trying to hit no Republicans. It's so bad. I read an article saying that the Republicans say, hey, man, we got to switch over as a Democrat in New York if we're going to have a fighting chance. That's how bad it is that PR Republicans is 6 feet under. They took off the hoods in Congress. Now every person that represents themselves as a Republican, everybody's looking at them side eye. So who is the ranked choice for Republicans? There are none. If the chosen mayoral candidates are in this primary, where is the opponent in November 2nd? That's my thing. So if there is no solid, so it's almost sad that if someone is going to tell me it's Sliwa and this guy is Mateo, they are not going to get any support. And the little support they're going to get, you're going to parade these people out as a possible competitor, opponent to the Democrat that's chosen. Eric Adams is going to trounce these people. It doesn't even make sense to go through the up to November 2nd to vote. It doesn't even make sense because everybody knows who they're going to vote for. We have a good mix of ethnicities. We have 48% white folks here. We got 25% black folk, and we got 29% Latino. And then we have, I think, 15% Asian, and the mix it up Jewish community or everybody else. It's a good mixture of people of color in this city, man. And as I said, a lot of them heavily lean to the left. There is no competition. So right now, what we're choosing right now on who is going to be chosen in this primary is pretty much is going to be the mayor. And that's why I was upset as an independent. Because if we move forward with this ranked choice, we're not going to go through the whole rigmarole of going to another campaign to November 2nd in the next 4 years. Nobody's going to pick a freaking Republican. So this primary is just on the Democrats. And if that's the case with this ranked choice, where do independents fit in? How do we get to be heard? Okay, so here is a switch up. This is the recorder was on 2 different days, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to visit my polling station. So yeah, so everybody has chosen. The 22nd has passed. We're here, and I took the time out to go down to my polling station, even though I knew that I couldn't vote. So I went down there. It was a rainy time, and I went down to my new polling station, and there was just a couple of things that I really felt that needs to be tweaked, needs to be worked on. Right before I headed into the building, I found the building. It's usually a school or something like that. I checked on my iPad just, at the last minute to see just to take a look at the candidates one last time before making the vote. I'm just pretending at this point. And I went on NYC.gov, vote.nyc. And the site changed. The site changed and changed into something to reflect that, of course, the 22nd being the voting day. And I was confused on where I could find information on the candidates. Now, I went on the site, I looked at it a couple of times, and I was just confused. I got lost. Trying to find the candidates that I just wanted just to take a look at one more time to have a visual. The only thing I could get to was there being two links, one being a PDF and one being a doc file. It was just pretty much a list of all the district candidates or the district positions that I've seen, and it was a long, oh my God, this list was long, and I was like, okay, what am I looking at? And I went down the list, and it went through the council districts, it went through the assembly districts, and with names. I just didn't get why this list was made the way it was made, especially if the link was talking about going over the candidates to check them out so you can choose who you want in this primary. So this list was long. It's about 64 pages, and it just had everything, and it was hard to even find my district that specifically for me. And I'm like, where do I go? It just didn't make sense. I think this in a way where look, this site has to be, and it was good for what it was prior to the 22nd. You could go to the top page, you can go through the list of candidates right in each position, but you have to make this site as user friendly as possible. You have to place all the information on the top page, which it did have prior to the 22nd, and it must be, dummy proof. Right here, this guy's dummy. Because obviously I had problems because it was just all over. I don't know why they changed the format of the site, but I was confused on where I should go to actually find the candidates, just to take one last look. And it's important for it to be dummy proof. It's important to have all that information on there. You shouldn't have to go through 3 or 4 clicks and just take that mouse click and just dash it all over the place on the front page to try to figure out who to check out the candidates one last time. It should be done in 2 clicks max, and you should be able to see all the information of that candidate, their talking points, or anything else before you make this one last decision. So I don't know why vote.nyc changed up the format or the look of their website. I don't even know why they offered the PDF in the way that they did, this long 64-page list. Don't know why. The other things that I thought that was important to really go after as I'm digging deeper is, where do these candidates campaign in their districts? I haven't seen any. I haven't seen people walk the streets. I haven't seen people on television. I haven't seen people talk on the radio, other than the big positions like mayor. Of course, pretty much the mayoral run is the major campaign run that's kind of pulling everybody together on this primary. But it's also important to talk about the other positions that are opened up. Now, some people are going to do their homework in a timely fashion. Some people are going to be late, hands raised, right? I'm going to be doing it at the last minute. Some people are just not going to have a clue. And I think in a lot of ways, the political system benefits from that, when people can be people that are apolitical and people that just don't have the spirit or the energy to really want to figure out who is going to represent them in their district. How do we know how they're doing? Once we vote for these folks, and a lot of times these people kind of get in by name, and over the years their name and face pops up, and people are like, oh, I'll just go with this person again. They really, haven't rocked the boat. But that's what you want to do as someone that represents you in your district. You want someone to rock the boat. You want someone to hear what you have to say. If you have a problem with your street lights, your sidewalks, your roads, your schools, anything, that you could bring across to that person that represents you in your district so they could go down to City Hall and say, hey, this is the problem. You want them to rattle the cage. And it's important for you to see them. There was one council member that I hardly see. I would see his office all the time, but I never seen him on the streets. I never seen him trying to get on the radio. I never seen him trying to get any local publications, online publications. He was in name only over this particular office where I drive by all the time. I mean, and you have to see how they're going to be honest too as well. Because once you vote them in, how do you make sure that they're going to stand by you once they're voted in? How can you keep these folks honest? So, I'm going and looking through these names and I'm like, I hardly see these people active in any way over the years. And, sometimes not even sometimes, all the time, it's our responsibility as voters to keep their feet to the fire and making sure they do what they have to do as representatives of the communities that they come from. What else did I had an issue with? I think there's got to be a website, this other thing, a website that and I know people are going to say, well, you could go on YouTube, something centralized where you can review the roles and responsibilities of particular candidates. What are they supposed to do? From historically, what they've done, what they're doing for you now, and how you can make sure that whatever you spoke about, whatever is the primary topic or discussion or subject matter that's really taking the community to hold, to address it to them and making sure they follow through. Because a lot of times people don't know what certain positions do. We don't. More now that people are becoming more politically engaged, they're like, oh, I didn't know that's what they do. Okay, then that's important. It's as important as the mayor. It's as important as the comptroller. It's as important as the public advocate. You have to look at all these positions that represent you and making sure that you contribute to whoever's going to be in that seat, because it's those very people that are going to be the decision makers on who other candidates, how other candidates are going to get placed within your district, or mayor or council member. They all play off of each other. And where you can't go to one, you want to make sure that people that stand by you, that candidate is going to speak for you once they're in that office in whatever meeting that they have in City Hall. So, when you look across the board, say for instance, the Senate, of course, the Assembly District, the Congressional District, the Public Advocate, the Brooklyn Borough President, the borough presidents in general, all of them, all the 5 boroughs. You have to make sure the DA that you're going to put in those seats, you have to make sure that all of these people represent you in the issues that you hold dear, and then they're going to push it forward when it's time to talk about it, when it's time to make those decisions. You want these people to represent you in the best way possible. So, as you get more politically aware and involved, you want to make sure that, hey, you know what? I haven't seen this city council. I haven't seen the public advocate. Well, what is the Brooklyn Borough President doing if you're from Brooklyn? Okay, what about, understand what I'm saying? Everything is not something that's centralized with the mayor himself. All these people have roles to play. They have responsibilities. They have duties to their constituents. And a lot of them take your message to City Hall. So those are some of the things that I had issues with. As I was going through some of these sites, a lot of them are just all over the place, especially when I was trying to figure out, as I said before, my registration, where I stand as an independent. I went to vote411.org. I didn't get anything. I put in my address. It came up with my voting location. It really didn't give me any worthwhile information. There's NYCvotersearch.com. I put all my info in there. Of course, it showed my district information. And then the weird thing is, as far as my party affiliation, it said BOK. I'm like, the first thing I thought was black, because that's the abbreviation of black. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So I'm like, I was confused with that. I went to findmypollsite.vote.nyc. Again, that's another site where you can go to if you want your district information, where you should vote, and the voting time frame. So that was cool too. And the other thing that I went to was voterlookup.elections.ny.gov. That's the .gov website. And it again shows my district information and other political party. Of course, it says not enrolled in any party. So, and it's good to have all these sites. It's fine. You know what I mean? But if people are going to use the main site, NYC. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'm saying it right. That vote.nyc. If we're going to use vote.nyc, it has to be more streamlined. It has to be as upfront, as basic as possible. It would be good to have a secondary page explaining what the duties are to certain candidates' roles or positions, however you want to call it. And you have to see what they've done, some history behind what they voted for, what they stood by, all that type of information. Because right now it's really when you want to, as a voter, you want to go to the candidate that you want to vote for. You want to have all that information on not just their website, what they stand, their platform. You want to see their history. What did they actually stand by you with? What did they actually leave to the wayside? Something that you felt that was important. It's important that we have that type of information on the site so we can make an educated decision if we want to vote this next person in for the next 4 years or however long that they're going to be in. It's important, man. I mean, I went down there, right, looking for this information. As I said before, it was pretty empty, man. I took pictures outside the school, and it was pretty empty. I walked in and I spoke to some poll workers at the door, and I expressed my issue, the same thing that I expressed with the Board of Elections, the Queen's Board of Elections, and they encouraged me, as I said to you folks, to advocate for independent voters to be counted in the primary. One of the poll watchers was Republican, or she is Republican, and she said there's Sliwa and there's Mateo, and as you already know, I wasn't for that. But there aren't any solid Republicans, especially how this ranked choice goes. Of course, we were discussing the whole process. All those votes going to the next candidate. If the primary candidate doesn't get 50%, and it kind of like you take all those votes and it goes to the next candidate. Okay, the Democratic candidate's chosen. But there are no Republicans because, of course, it's going to go to November 2nd. Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. All of this is just formalities. New York City is never going to vote. I mean, granted, we did have Giuliani, but look where this dude's at. So I can't see us having a Republican anytime soon. So all of this is formalities, and whoever we pick today is going to be, whoever we pick on June 22nd is going to be the next mayor. Because he's gonna whoever Republican, they're gonna get trounced. Even the woman that was there, she was a black Republican. She didn't like either candidate. They was trash. There was no coverage. There was nothing, as I said before. So my thing is, it's important that every New Yorker's voice is heard through the vote, regardless if you're a Republican, Democrat, or independent. We should be able to choose who we want within the primary leading up to the general election. Because a lot of times, if this is how it's going to go, forget it a lot of times. If this is how it's going to go currently, we know what is going to be the outcome. So all this stuff that we're going to hear for the next couple of months up to the November 2nd is just flim flam. And we know who's going to get picked to be the next mayor of New York City. The choice is being made at the primary, not at the general election. The choice at this moment is going to be at the primary. And whoever's chosen now, we're going to make another choice in the next term. And let's see if we can change that. If I can have anything to do with that, changing, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, we have some obvious flaws within the system that needs to be rectified, that needs to be streamlined. And, yeah, man, I may be calm now, but I'm upset because I'm just standing there at my polling station, unable to be heard. So, Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. Let's get into some next tunes. What are these next tunes that we're gonna just get right back into? It's Jax the Band Man with their song Blind, and after Jax the Band, we're gonna get into Toine Houston with her song Flippant. So let's get into it. We'll be right back. All right.
Trust and know that I'ma keep it more than 100 with you. It used to be us two together, rain and thunder through the weather. 10 with us because you're doing better. I want you, I won't lie. Still I can't help but feel like I can give you the world, but you're blind to me. I must stay all out, but you never read. And I'm jealous of you, 'cause it's not up to me. I could show you the door, but I don't have a key. Oh no.
You know what you're rocking to?
Rocking with the best.
Only the best. GCOM Radio.
Feels good to be so flippant. Acquired taste, so no wonder I'm so different. Ascended to my dimension, convention does not apply. I wonder what shall I mention, how wonderful well am I try. No way will I've gonna tie it, sugar coating the flyness that defines this chocolate covered dopeness. See, it's not a hella young metaphor, coated tongue. Used to give the gab to get out of getting jumped. Okay. First because I was a tomboy, then cause I wasn't one. Pushing me up into a corner, bell ring around, say 1, 2, I'm in a cipher for work, and 3, now I'm headed home. 4 years total. Tupac to blessing African kings. I don't gotta drip like they do. Nope. I don't gotta spit like they do. Nope. I don't give a shit what they do. Get it? Flip it. Yeah. I don't even gotta get that mad, cause chicks still gonna get that bag. I don't give a get who gets mad. Get it? Flip it. I don't gotta drip like you do. Nope. I don't gotta spit like you do. Nope. I don't give a shit what you do. Get it? Flip it. Yeah. I don't even gotta get that mad, cause chicks still gonna get that bag. I don't give a get who gets mad. Get it? Flip it. Look up and I'm in Cali, shot town raised. Though now when I pull up, they call me Valley. Do by not doing, I do what I'm doing. It's too experimental for few, so I'm cluing all. Interested, I'm doing all solicited activities. It's riveting, not limiting my wealth while distancing myself, repositioning, all sickening adversity to self. Yo, it's crazy asserting myself. Okay, yeah, I got that foreign whip. Passport number 2 for all my foreign trips. She on some foreign deciding which UK city I should start my tour off with. Some seem upset. No, serious, I'm so serious. Why so curious about my bag? Are you mad? Are you mad? Respect's earned. I'm jet lagged. Yo, that's crazy. You can't fade me. I ain't faded. Look, mom, I done made it. Your baby is doing well. Went from cleaning up White Castle to showcasing my scales. I don't gotta drip like they do. I don't gotta spit like they do. I don't give a shit what they do. Get it? Flip it. I don't even gotta get that mad, cause chicks still gonna get that bag. I don't give a get who gets mad. Get it? Flip it. I don't gotta drip like you do. Nope. I don't gotta spit like you do. Nope. I don't give a shit what you do. Get it? Flip it. Yeah. I don't even gotta get that mad, cause chicks still gonna get that bag. And don't give a get who gets mad. Get it? Flip it. Flip it. Flip it.
Yeah, we just got off listening to Jax the Band with their song Blind, and Toine Houston with her song Flippant. Please check out my IG profile and click on their link to check them out, their profiles, their music, their what are they up to. Yeah, man, I really like Jax the Band, man. It's a family band, and looking forward to hearing some new tunes that they got coming with. Yeah, so that was the voting thing, man. That my whole experience. So I hope you guys learned something from this. Probably you didn't learn anything at all. You already knew, because you guys are so politically astute. Yeah, man. But that's what I had to go through in the mix of all this. And just one more thing, and I got to put on my plate. I'm like, yo, no, what are you talking about, bro? There's only what you talking like? You gonna? Hey, man, listen. Like I said, my head could be down, and the next thing you know, I pull it up, I pick it up, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I was supposed to. You know what I mean? So, even though it's always in my face, that's why. Look, and what goes with that is I don't call people. As far as phone calls, people say, yo, no, why don't you call people? Because my head is down and I'm always, in my work, and then I pick it up, and all next thing you know, a month go by. I'm like, damn, I really didn't get back to that person. That's just me, man. That's just me. I try my best, and then I pick up my head, and I'm like, damn, did I do that? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get into news you need to know, and we'll be right back with my take on this whole thing that's in Rolling Stone about the music business and the future of it. All right, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, around the world and right in your neighborhood, it's the news you need to know.
Buddhist practice of planting trees over human ashes saves space around the world. As the human population grows further into the billions, there has been much talk about changing the burial rituals from one nation to the next. It has gotten so expensive that Singapore has replaced tombs with columbariums, structures that hold urns of the cremated. In Hong Kong, because of the price tag, the government has encouraged their own artists to promote cremation. Sunjin Temple, a Buddhist base in northern Japan, has implemented a more innovative solution called Jumokuso, or tree burials. Families can place cremated remains in the ground and plant a tree over the ashes to mark the gravesite. In one of their smaller temple park areas known as Toine, families perform their practice with their own religious rituals. Although the Japanese practice has been met with their own criticisms from others wanting the traditional ways, the practice is taking hold in other countries. America, for one, is taking notice because of the same high price tag associated with funerals. In all, we see that people and cultures tend to adjust their religious, spiritual practices based on unavoidable changes in their immediate social, cultural, and geographical environments. Coinbase founder talks crypto price warning as fear spreads. As Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market continues to lag in performance, many people fear that the death cross, quote unquote, is taking hold of the whole industry. Ursham, who founded blockchain investment firm Paradigm since leaving Coinbase, responds to the news saying, quote, people are going to try all sorts of things. There will be millions and millions of cryptocurrencies and crypto assets, just like there were millions and millions of websites. Most of them won't work, unquote. The latest blockchain invention, NFTs, have skyrocketed with the buying and selling of mind-bogglingly high price tag items. Ursham says that 90% of these super expensive objects will lose its value in 3 to 5 years. However, with all the doubt spreading like deadly bacteria, positivity is still holding strong for the crypto market. Ursham states, quote, I think crypto is the next internet-sized opportunity for the United States. The world doesn't change overnight, but you can see the seeds of exponential growth occurring already, unquote. And that is the news you need to know. All right. So in this last segment, I saw a Rolling Stone big expose. I don't know if you want me using that word, right? Expose. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of sleuth. I love the internet, man, because right before your ears, you are seeing or experiencing how the internet works for the average person. In 2021, in the year 2021. Okay, great. So I'm using that, right? They were, or just this big story. Let's just say, I'm with the expose. It was a big story that was covered by Rolling Stone, pretty much saying the future of music. The future of music, the future of music. And I thought it was, you know what? And I loved the whole layout because it was this big blue spread of them getting into each topic, each artist, talking about the music business, talking about the technology of today and tomorrow, how the music business is going to expand and benefit the artist, and the history of the music business, how it's been exploitative to the artist. And you could press on each article, each story, and it opens up to a new tab on that particular. I thought it was hot. I liked how this whole layout was. It was very interactive in the way that they did it. So why am I talking about this? Because of course, as who everything that Lyfeblood is about, and who I am as the founder of Lyfeblood.com, it kind of ties into this. Because I'm so intimately involved with music, I always want to see how these writers are actually going to present how the music business is going to behave towards the artist, because the artist is what makes the music. But yeah, at the end of the day, they get the least amount of the revenue that is coming up from the creation that they make in the studio. And it's something that's not new, man. It's just been going on since the beginning of the music business, and it continues today. But what's different about it is the technology. Is the internet. And here's some of this article is talking about how touring is going to be different of the future. I mean, they talked about Google Glass, they talked about augmented reality, and I think that is the future of music, because you always want to give something that's a little bit more have a little bit more pizzazz to the folks that that actually bought tickets to come to the venue. And I think augmented reality, and they're already kind of doing that because, you know, they did Tupac Shakur and other celebrities through the, you know, Google Glass or the 3D projections on stage. And I thought that was kind of cool, man. So we're not going to see the end of that. They're only going to expand on it. I think that what was hot that played during, I think it happened at the beginning of COVID or right before, it was the Rihanna's Fenty show. I thought that was always hot. I spoke about it before on the show. I love the fact how she mixed up the artists, the stage interludes with the performers, the dancers, the little breaks. I thought that was, I've never seen that on television before. Now I can say that they do involve that level of theatrics during tours, but I've never seen something the way that it was done, the way that Rihanna did it for her Fenty show. So I'm kind of like looking forward to more of that. The last time I see something on that scale was Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson was doing those 10-minute long videos, and he had his dance routine, and you know that I haven't seen that since. I think seeing Rihanna's Fenty show was kind of a continuation of that, with a little bit more involvement, the settings, and you know the choreography. I really liked what Rihanna was doing, and I'm hoping that along with the touring that Rihanna does, there can be something special that can be given to the people that haven't been to her shows yet, or any artist for that matter. I'm not even speaking about Rihanna specifically, but any artist for that matter, they can give this piece to people that's watching it at home. I thought that was really dope. I think I don't even know. I haven't been to concerts lately, so I'm gonna ask you guys, and you can hit me back in whatever way. As far as sound, the sound experience, and I think there's gonna be more 3D sound. I don't know if artists have incorporated 3D sound in their touring experience, and you guys can let me know. Is it kind of like the movie theater where they have 3D sound in movie theaters? Like there are typical regular movie theaters that blast the sound into your ears, but there are other smart theaters that use 3D sound where you can see the plane flying at you. You can hear the sound. The plane will fly over you off screen, and you can hear the jet engine fly over your head, and then it kind of drifts into the distance behind you. I think that was amazing. I think I probably saw about 2 or 3 movies like that. It could have been IMAX. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was IMAX. Has that been done in music touring where you have 3D sound? I don't know. I haven't been to a huge concert, like say a Taylor Swift concert. But if that hasn't been done, how can you incorporate 3D sound with people at these venues to really give them a 360 experience, a musical experience, sonic experience of the artists that they're watching? It's great that we see all these visuals that the artists have created for their stage performance, but how can you kind of meld sound into that experience as well? So I don't know. Maybe if it's been done, that's great, but if it's not, that will be the future. I think the other thing that's dope is a movable stage. Yeah, movable stages have been done, but have we done it in a way where it's kind of like Industrial Light and Magic's stagecraft theater, where they've used LED screens above, below? And I think they have done that, actually, if you think about it. I think I've seen that in a couple of Super Bowl shows where you can have that LED surround as far as an all-encompassing visual experience using LED screens on the floor, behind the artist, in front. I think that's already been done. I think that's already been done on a live stage. But as far as something that's happened indoors, where it's not just behind the artist, but beside the crowd, above the crowd, behind the crowd, you know what I mean? Where you can see that object or whatever, not just in 3D, but just how it flies around you and then totally. I haven't really seen that. You've seen it on stage, but I haven't seen that that involves or it wraps around the entire venue of, say, I don't know, 2,000 people. Now that is a feat to see. And where you can toss around different imagery and really place the artist or place the fan, the music watcher, and immerse them into that world that the artist creates. And it's all around them. The sound is around them. The visuals around them. Man, you can't, that would be amazing. So as the future of touring, beautiful, man. I will hope that somewhere down the line that I could be a part of that. It's going to be, it may sound expensive, but I think that's hot. Do-it-yourself artists, man, they kind of was talking about that. Of course, as we all know, how artists would get made. They get pennies on the dollar, the points in their record contract, and then of course the physical sales of the CDs or the records, the wax, the tapes. You know, I'm talking about historically how music was sold in units. Now, you know, currently now it's music streaming. So we already know how artists have kind of been cut out of making serious money in the music business in general. And I've said before that digital downloading, how music was going from Napster and how the recording industry has kind of like pushed Napster out to now how it became Apple and people were buying music individually instead of as a whole album. And I thought that was magnificent. If you didn't like the whole album, you can buy per song. And there are some artists have said, I think it was T-Pain said, hey man, I can be rich off of singles alone. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And I don't think we fully kind of worked out how that could benefit artists. They say the music business generated about $1.2 billion in 2020. So obviously the music business is not going anywhere. It hasn't taken a serious dip. It's continuing to make money and will make more. Do-it-yourself artistry. And I've always believed in that. And I feel that it's necessary that artists have to take more responsibility in the music that they create in the studio and how they distribute it to their fans. Now, they're saying since COVID-19 lockdown, there's been about 14 million music creators building during this pandemic and more that's coming. And the three majors have collected, like they say, $15 billion from recording music in 2020. So they're doing pretty good. And they're saying it's been up since 2019. I think they made about 750 million. It's been up about 750 million from 2019. Excuse me. It's been up 750 million from 2019. So again, the three majors are making a killing. The music ain't going nowhere. We have artists like Lil Nas X, Arizona Serve Us, Young Gravy, and I'm gonna be honest, this other Still Woozy. The only DIY music creator that I know is Lil Nas X. You have Arizona Serve Us, Young Gravy, and Still Woozy, and they're apparently racking up numbers, and they're doing well for themselves. But I think it's also we have to keep in mind how we can keep things in perspective business-wise for these DIY artists. And the market is only growing. And I think Lyfeblood in a lot of different ways, as I've talked to you guys about Music Life, how artists have to take more responsibility and they can control the way they get their music out and the money that they make through Music Life on Lyfeblood.com. And I don't think it's just going to be through the top three alone. And the top three, they're always going to be making money, the top three. What is the top three anyway? Let me see if I can find the top three. Let me see if I can find. I don't think I'll be able to find the top three. One of them was Sony, I know. That was one. And I can't remember the top three. Anyway, one of them was Sony. I should have wrote it down. I should have wrote it down in my notes, but it is what it is. So anyway, the top three is not going anywhere. And when it comes to recording contracts, I understand why artists should sign them anyway. Not to say that record companies are not needed. Of course, they still play an integral part in getting music out there to the millions and millions of people. They have the resources, they have the money, they have the personnel. So you'll always need record companies to a certain degree. But as I said before, in the DIY artists, they're no longer the only place to go to. And as you already know, there's plenty of ways where you can make this money. Now, I think what's important, again, as a part of being responsible artists, I think you got to have like a dope ass manager, man. And you also have to have a dope ass lawyer that's going to be able to write the contracts that you want. I think music record companies can be kind of like offer label services, which I've seen online, and there's a lot of different companies that are doing that. That's strictly online. They don't really have they're not brick and mortar places. And they could deliver label services to those artists, to those DIY, say Lil Nas X, right? But of course, if they're going to offer label services, you got to pay them money. Of course, it's a service. Listen, we're going to do this service for you. We're not going to take any of your royalties or whatever, but this is what it's going to cost for you to get the services that you need. And I think that's one option. That's one option you're going to do. If you don't want to deal with any royalty splits, you could do a revenue split instead, where whatever money that you're making from the music that you're making, say it could be a 1090 split from the revenue, a 2080 or whatever. I think that is going to have to be worked out with the artists themselves, because as you grow your fan base to 100,000, 500,000, 800,000, now it's, as we all know, the ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. And why did I bring all this up? Because it's important that we all know that the music business is changing. However, there are some things that we're still stuck on that I feel a lot of people are talking about, but we haven't really kind of figured out a way to kind of make sure artists are paid honestly and adequately. And regardless of all these things that are coming up, for instance, they have a new platform called Splice, where you can have hundreds of thousands of royalty-free samples available to artists. You have Epidemic Sounds. It's a video creator program, a platform where video creators can put music to the videos that they create for a monthly subscription. You have United Masters that artists can be a part of, advertisements and brand partnerships with the help of, say, like companies like iHeartRadio and NBA. And that's great, and they're able to keep their master rights. You have Roblox, that video game. My kid plays that all the time. Music companies are trying to figure out how they can get the ears of 33 million viewers a month. And then you have a community, a platform for artists to connect with their fans, send texts about their shows and whatever else that's related to the artist. And that's all great and all good, that there are other revenue streams that artists can make money. But I think it's key that you want to get adequately paid for your music. You want to get paid for your music that you create. I mean, and I don't think, and I always say music streaming is not the way to go. I mean, you have a lot of these sites like that are distribution companies, that they're going to get it out to all the music streaming platforms, and they say you keep 100% of your royalties, the money that you make. But again, if you break down the numbers, a lot of these music streaming platforms don't pay artists adequately. Now, I say all this, and there are great upsides to what's happening in the music business, but there are some things that are still problematic in the music business at the same time. And I think in a lot of ways, Lyfeblood, it can offer a different platform for those artists. And I think it's just not in music, but in the message that you can spread with the fans that you connect with on the platform, where it's just not about music, but everything else that involves an artist. It's not one thing. And you can say, hey, I could do that here. I could do that here, there, over there. It's something that already exists. But that's not what Lyfeblood wants to copy in a way. They want to just offer a new experience, a relationship between artists and fans through Music Life, where it's just not the trade of music and paying artists for the music that they give you, but also to see the totality of that artist themselves with the fans that they build up on the Lyfeblood platform. And I think Lyfeblood it can be a unique platform where it's just not music, but it's also puts front and center the fans themselves and everything that they are. I'm a fan of Jay-Z, but you know, my love is doing this podcasting. So when I do this podcasting, hey, can you help me out and toss me $1 here? So it's just not me as a fan that wants to support the music artists that I love, which is a small section of Lyfeblood.com. But how can I be supported in who I am in the society that I exist in? And that's kind of different from all these other platforms that money just moves in one direction. We want to have it in a way that's decentralized, where everybody can play a part of this economic system and they can all fund each other in one way or another. And again, that's how Lyfeblood is different in a decentralized way. We're not just trying to have money go to 3 companies, 3 major behemoths. It's not what it's about. It's something that the money I can give to Jay-Z or Lil Nas X or someone like Tyler the Creator, or any one of these, or J. Cole, or I'm thinking up of artists right now, Lauryn Hill, or Nicki Minaj, or any one of the artists that I really dig, and say, hey, listen, I'll be able to give money to the artist that's providing me 2 or 3 songs a week, or 2 or 3 songs a month. I'll give them $2 or $3. But how can I be supported as well in my own passion that I create, and all these people that create this community on Lyfeblood.com, whether it's through Music Life or whatever other different way that I can be funded myself and to help to support to bring my passion into real life. So that's how Lyfeblood is different, and it's very unique and different from how all these other revenue streams or companies are creating these different revenue streams for artists. As I said before, it's not just for artists, but it's for everyone. And we want to support the artists, but we also want to support the people that's giving money to these artists. So I see a lot of beautiful things that are coming out of the music industry. And there's some things that, you know, even Lyfeblood wants to be involved in, as I said before, like that immersive 3D experience of sound and sight, involving the ticket holders themselves. And if it's already been done, that's all well and good, but not in a way that I'm thinking of, where you can just put them smack dab in the middle of this whole experience, man. You know what I mean? So I see some big things are happening. We still need to change the music business. It's just not just music streaming, man. I really want to get back to how we can support these artists in the right way. And not just continuing to run on, giving it a different name, giving it a different look, giving it a different feel, giving it a different business operation, a business model, not business operation, business model, but still kind of maintaining where money is kind of being siphoned away from the artists. And you have these big companies making billions and billions of dollars, and then all of a sudden you have a B-list, a guy that has a strong 500,000 fans and really not reaping the benefits of all the hard work that he's been putting in for the last 3 months on the record they've been working on. So it's about being fair, man. It's about being fair with all these technologies that are coming out, these new inventions that are just making the artist experience or the artist life more efficient and forward thinking and connective, you know, to the people that they're making music for. So yeah, man, that's how I see it. All right, folks, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it. I will do my best on trying to get this off the ground as far as getting independents, allowing them to vote in the primary. I'm just gonna reach out to a couple of people amongst all the other things that I'm doing. Of course, trying to get this brand where it should be with the proper VCs. And this other project that I'm doing on the side, I will let you know as soon as I get some traction on that. And appreciate any ramblings. Please leave me a message on social media, on my IG, on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever. It's about creating that the world that we always want and the world that we deserve. And it's either through this new economic business model that I would like to give to you all, present to you all. And it's still in its infancy. It's not fully realized yet. This is just the beginning steps. So when you do go to the website, no, this is just the beginning. Even Facebook had a beginning. When you see Facebook for the first time, it's not what Facebook is now. So there's a whole other world that I still want to present you guys as we kind of build out this community. So I appreciate you guys to sign up and really become a part of this new world that I'm creating. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. So again, thanks for listening to me. I'll see you guys next week, or talk to you guys next week, and hopefully I'll have some good news by then. So appreciate it, guys. I'm out of here. Be well. All right.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.